Trump just confirmed what Trump Tower meeting was for. Hillary better start panicking. It has been over 2 years now since the New York Times, Washington Post, MSNBC, and CNN, among other left-leaning mainstream media news sources, formed an alliance of sorts to bring to the American people the narrative of Russian collusion with the Trump campaign during the 2016 presidential election in one story after another. Yet every bit of it, including the supposed bombshell from the NYT concerning President Donald Trump's eldest son, Donald Jr., and a meeting held at Trump Tower. Donald Jr. came under scrutiny for meeting with Russian lawyer Natalia Veselitskaya in the summer of 2016 at Trump Tower, where she promised to provide damaging information on the then Democratic presidential nominee and political opponent Hillary Clinton. Approximately a year later, Donald Jr. chose to publish the email exchanges to the public in an effort to preempt an NYT story on the meeting and the subsequent attempts to misconstrue it. Donald Jr. states the meeting was a complete waste of time and saying it was about Russian adoption policy related to American sanctions. Yet despite the efforts of special counsel Robert Mueller and the continued pushing of the narrative of fictional Russian collusion, they are still no closer to presenting any tangible evidence that anyone within the Trump administration actually colluded with the Russian government, nor have they been able to prove any actual crimes of any type throughout President Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. This is in spite of recent reports emerging from CNN and WHO. Both media outlets published stories on Saturday reporting of President Trump becoming increasingly anxious about his son, Donald Jr.'s legal fate, stemming from that Trump Tower meeting. President Trump pushed back at the narrative being presented, calling it fake news reporting. He tweeted early on Sunday morning in response, "Fake news reporting, a complete fabrication, that I am concerned about the meeting my wonderful son, Donald, had in Trump Tower. This was a meeting to get information on an opponent, totally legal and done all the time in politics, and it went nowhere. I did not know about it." WHO speculates on President Trump's state of mind amongst his friends and advisors, stating, Trump has confided to friends and advisors that he is worried the Mueller probe could destroy the lives of what he calls innocent and decent people, namely Trump Jr., who is under scrutiny by Mueller for his role organizing a June 2016 meeting at Trump Tower with Russians promising dirt on Hillary Clinton. As one advisor described the president's thinking, he does not believe his son purposefully broke the law but is fearful nonetheless that Trump Jr. inadvertently may have wandered into legal jeopardy. While CNN follows a similar narrative, citing the usual unnamed sources with claims they spoke to, one person who speaks with Trump frequently stated the president has been concerned for months now that the Mueller probe could reach his family, and potentially his son-in-law Jared Kushner, but his focus has turned to his namesake in recent weeks. CNN adds that Michael Cohen, Trump's longtime attorney, and former fixer, is said to be prepared to testify that the president knew about the Trump Tower meeting ahead of time. Some speculate that President Trump and his tweets blasting Mueller are indicative of President Trump's guilt. Yet others note it appears the only agenda these media outlets have is to advance the cause of the resistance at all costs. If the cost is the destruction of their own journalistic integrity from time to time with various and sundry fake news reports, then so be it. Yet for some reason, it comes as such a surprise to them when that plan ends up backfiring on them bigly with the folks of Middle America. As Reuters pointed out recently, the media's breathless Russian coverage has done little to turn the pro-Trump sections of Middle America against the president. If anything, it has only served to bolster their support of the president and further erodes their confidence in the media. Meanwhile, President Trump himself is speaking up in his own defense, referring to investigators, 17 angry Democrats, and questioning why they are not investigating the FBI or Department of Justice. Given the sheer volume of corruption uncovered regarding the abuses of the FISA court along with the gross corruption uncovered in the recently released report from the Office of the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, it is a gross miscarriage of justice that nothing whatsoever is being done. Yet Mueller's witch hunt persists, up to and including the examination of President Trump's tweets. Jay Sekulow, a member of President Trump's legal team, spoke to ABC's This Week on Sunday, suggesting nothing about the tweet or the Trump Tower meeting suggests anything illegal took place. When you look at a meeting, now 2 years ago, the question is what law, statute, or rule or regulation's been violated. Sekulow said. Nobody's pointed to one. Host George Stephanopoulos noted that the meeting could result in charges of aiding and abetting conspiracy to defraud the United States. When asked about the possibility of Mueller poring over President Trump's tweets for obstruction of justice, Sikulo called it simply absurd in reference to a New York Times report last week. The report states Mueller is examining Trump's tweets to determine whether the president attempted to obstruct the federal investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. In particular, the report says Mueller's team is looking through President Trump's tweets specifically for tweets about Attorney General Jeff Sessions and former FBI Director James Comey. Note from the editor: the views and opinions expressed in this article are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the position of this website or of the owners/administrators of where this article is shared online. Claims made in this piece are based on the author's own opinion and not stated as evidence or fact.